How's everyone doing today? My presentation is on Tata Motors. My name is Christopher Borroto, and here we go. Not only to discuss such topics that are relatable in the business world and give you the factual information on what and how the companies ran, but the what. What will this project accomplish? What will we learn throughout this presentation? But one project can have more than one goal, such as objectives. The objective of this presentation is to merely show you what this company is about and how it is thriving throughout the industries, not only in the car industry, but how it was thriving in the locomotive industry and such forward. Former Telco, short for Tata Engineering and Locomotive Company. It was an Indian multinational automotive manufacturing company headquartered in Mumbai, India, and is a member of the Tata Motor Group. Its products included passenger cars, trucks, vans, coaches, buses, sports cars, construction equipment, and military vehicles, which was primarily founded in 1945 producing locomotives. 1954. Tata entered the commercial vehicle sector in 1954 after forming a joint venture with Daimler-Benz of Germany. As you can see in the photo below, throughout the presentation I have photos going in different variations, not only dealing with what I'm talking about or the present and future. 2004. On September 27, 2004, Tata Motors rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange to mark the listing of Tata Motors in the United States. For major competitors for Tata Motors, Ford would be the first one. Ford Motor began a manufacturing revolution with mass production assembly lines in the early 20th century, but today is one of the world's largest automakers. Throughout this presentation, as I said, I threw some memes in regarding the slides, such as get a Ford, they said, they would never break down, they said, in the top left corner of the presentation. General Motors. General Motors, known as GM, one of the largest auto manufacturers, makes cars and trucks with well-known brands such as Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, and GMC. GM also builds cars through its GM Daewoo, Opel, Vauxhall, and Holden units throughout Europe and other parts of the world. That's where Opel comes from. A lot of people probably never heard of them, but they make smaller versions of sports cars, compact cars, and I don't think they are sold in the US, but hopefully in the future they are because they are beautiful cars. Suzuki. Suzuki Motor Corporation is a leading Japanese car maker and a global motorcycle manufacturer. It is competing head-to-head with rivals Honda and Yamaha. Suzuki's passenger cars include the Alto, Grand Vitara, the Swift, Splash, and SX4. Suzuki is not only known for its cars, but also known for its motorcycles, mostly known for its motorcycles, producing one of the fastest and most unique motorcycles known in the industry, which also makes it a very competitive brand to Tata Motors, since they do believe in going different directions, including locomotive, trucks, coaches, boats, and so forth. The annual reports. For annual report slide, I just described it mainly on what it's believed to be. An annual publication that public corporations must provide to shareholders to describe their operations and financial conditions. The front part of the report often contains an impressive combination of graphics, photos, and an accompanying narrative, which is seen on the right when dealing with Tata Motors' annual report. They say, in the mission, we innovate with passion, mobility, solutions to enhance quality of life. For their values, they believe in integrity, teamwork, accountability, customer focus, excellence, and speed. Also, for the vision, as a high-performance organization, they are known by FY 2019 among the top 3 in global CV and domestic PV, achieving sustainability, financial performance, delivering exciting innovations, and so forth, so on, that I will talk about in the preceding slides. All the chronicled the company's activities over the past year also are included in the annual reports. The back part of the report contains detailed financial and operational information as well. For financial articles, I found five financial articles that we were supposed to find. The first one was through the Financial Times. The consensus recommendation that they gave as of March 2017. They forecast amongst 48 polled investment analysts covering Tata Motors Limited advocacies that the company will outperform the market. This has been the consensus forecast since the sentiment of the investment analysis that deteriorated on June 14th, 2011. The previous consensus forecasted advised investors to purchase equity in Tata Motors Limited, which has proven obviously successful over the past couple of years because they've been innovating in various ways. For the next one, for NASDAQ, I just threw in a graph showing not only investors just to strongly buy, but it was also recommended by a lot of financial analysts and throughout the reports throughout NASDAQ. But JP Morgan is overweight on the stock with a target price of Rs 570. The research firm feels that JLR's sales mix should improve with a pickup in Land Rover sales on the back of the 5 new launches, which I will talk about in the next couple slides about Range Rovers and Land Rovers coming up with new cars for their 2017 line, also the 2018 line. They're very interesting. As they said, the fall in Land Rover volumes continued for the 5th straight month. Hence, JP Morgan estimated margin mix to be slightly negative on this account. The decline is largely led by Discovery, ahead of the new Visions launch in February 2017. It said in the report. For the next one, Carvey. Carvey has reiterated its buy call on the stock with a target price of the Rs 535 a share. The brokerage house cited spectacular growth in the UK, North America, and China for February. As they quote, "We expect JLR to continue its positive momentum across the markets on the back of success of new launches at regular interval. On SOTP basis, we value company's standalone business at Rs 103, as is said in its report." Kotak Institutional Equities. Kotak Institutional Equities maintained its buy call on the stock with a target price of Rs 550. The research firm expects volume growth momentum to improve over the next few months with the beginning of the sales of the new Discovery, and the continued strong growth in China. As few may not know, the new Discovery is the Land Rover's newest model. We'll get into that later in the slideshow, but for now, just throwing it out there. For this slide, I have a financial statement, more like an informational video. I could probably throw it in at the end. But for now, we're just going to move forward with the financial statement. 5 examples of financial statements. I have the balance sheet, the income statement of the annual report throughout 2016, as of 2015, going into 2016. I'm sorry. I have the consolidated balance sheet along with the annual income statement, all valued in thousands. For my other examples for graphs would be the cash flows throughout the annual report and the financial ratios. I would love to talk more in depth, but as time winds down, I'm getting to that point. We're just going to keep going. And then for the next financial statement we have is profit and loss statement, which is another consolidated statement of profit and loss throughout the 2015 to 2016 annual report. Okay, getting into articles that were seen throughout the year of 2017, the beginning of 2017, and late 2016. For the first one, this article is labeled "Tata Motors Tigor launch on Wednesday. Can it take on Maruti Swift Desire and Hyundai Accent?" They believe the Tigor from Tata Motors is the newest addition to the compact sedan troupe, which is present in more than half a dozen aspirants vying for attention. In the group, they have specifications, the power of the engine, the space, the fuel tank capacity, and the weight. Obviously, Tata Motors is lower on that, but is also very, I guess you can say, modern looking compared to the Hyundai Accent and the Maruti Swift Desire. A Tiago with a larger boot. A Tiago is based on a platform used by a Reformer, which has been very well received in the market since last year. Like with the Tiago, Tata Motors is expected to continue with its aggressive pricing strategy with the Tigor 2. The Tigor is the newer edition of the Yaga, as explained. Motown enthusiasts expected to be priced at around Rs 4.8 Indian money. Another article, the next one. As Tata Motors posts good sales, analysts remain upbeat on stock. Research firms expect better volumes going forward and reiterate their buy call on the stock. Tata Motors, owned Jaguar Land Rover, reported its best ever retail sales for February at 40,970 vehicles, up 9.3% from the same month last year. The strong performance was driven by strong sales of the Jaguar F-Pace, the XC, the Land Rover Discovery Sport, the Range Rover and Evoque, with sales of the all-new Land Rover Discovery now also underway, the company said in the statement that was given throughout for the article. The third article, cars guided by voice control, electrics on Tata Motors' radar. Given that an average person spreads 4 hours each day, translating to 60 days in a year, commuting in his car, manufacturers are working overtime on a host of innovative technologies aimed at making the drive less stressful. So as they said in the article, soon your voice could replace the buttons and switches that help change music, make calls, start or shut down headlights and wipers while driving. Given an average person spends 4 days each year, as I said previously, just trying to make it everyday commuter's life easier, which I find very interesting and very well worth. Recent press release. This is the last article that I did find on it, and this is the most recent press release that Tata Motors did release in the public on March 20th, 2017. To summarize what happened during the press release, Tata Motors commerced pre-bookings for the Tata Tigor across all authorized dealerships with a booking amount of Rs 5,000, which meant for the young and fast generation, obviously, because of the new innovative Tigor and obviously the new Land Rovers and Range Rovers. Tata Tigor comes with its new stunning break-free and revolutionary design, set to build on Tata Motors' existing passenger vehicle portfolio. The Tigor offers completely new styling and design approach, making it a completely unique market proposition. I probably won't get into the stock comparisons, but as you can see, Tata Motors is on the rise, as Ford Motor Company is very steady, as well as General Motors, just picking up from the recent repression that they were currently in the last couple of years. Insider trading. I have a little meme on the side here. Play that throughout. The illegal practice of trading on the stock exchange to one's own advantage through having access to confidential information. An insider is any person who possesses at least one of the following: access to valuable non-public information about a corporation, which makes it a company's directors and high-level executive insiders. And 2, ownership of the stock that equals more than 10% of a firm's equity. Top management compensations. For the chief financial officer, around $42.2 million a year. For the executive director of commercial vehicles, around $38.1 million a year. And the executive director of quality is around $31 million a year. The PE ratios, as I said before, I'm probably not getting into the graphs, but it's just an overview of how the PE ratios are dealing with competitors, Tata Motors, how they're dealing with Ford and GM. This is Ford, and we have General Motors. Dividend yield, same thing along with the PE ratios. This is Tata Motors. This is Ford Motor Company. General Motors. General Motors and Ford, they're around the same area in both PE ratios, betas, dividend yields, and all that. Well, Tata Motors is really fluctuating throughout the graphs. And this is with betas. Tata Ford Motors, GM Motors. This one is ROE, which ROE shows how well a company uses investment funds to generate growth. Return on equity is what it stands for, is useful for comparing the profitability of companies within a sector or industry. Capital structure for Tata Motors, how a firm finances its overall operations and growth by using different sources of funds. Debt comes in form of bond issues or long-term notes payable, while equity is classified as a common stock, preferred stock, or return. Earnings per share for Tata Motors. Earnings per share represents the portion of a company's profit allocated to each outstanding share of common stock. The net income, reported or estimated, which is usually what happens, for a period divided by total number of shares outstanding, the TSO, during that period. Tata Motors. This is for Ford Motors. For General Motors. And then the BVPS of 2016, as of December 2016, is $12.07 for Tata Motors, $7.42 for Ford, and $29.22 for General Motors. Mergers. Okay, so Tata Motors over the last 50 years purchased Land Rover and Jaguar, as you see in the previous slides. Jaguar Land Rover. Tata Motors today acquired the Jaguar Land Rover business from Ford Motor Company for a net consideration of US $2.3 billion, as announced on March 26 in an all-cash transaction. Ford has contributed about US $600 million US to the Jaguar Land Rover pension plan. But why Tata Motors bought Jaguar? Ratan Tata had tried to sell Tata Motors car division to Ford once. However, he was humiliated and said that if he doesn't know how to manage the business, he shouldn't have gone into it. And years later, when Ford was on the verge of bankruptcy, Tata Motors purchased Jaguar to save their lives, which is pretty ironic, to be honest, and a great story, to be honest. Mergers continue. Tata Hispano. Tata Motors first acquired a 21% stake in Hispano Carrocera SA in 2005. And purchased the remaining 79% for an undisclosed sum in 2009, making it a fully owned subsidiary, subsequently renamed Tata Hispano. In 2013, Tata Hispano ceased production of its Zaragoza plant. Now to get into foreign exchange rate risks. The Indian automotive industry is materially affected by the general economic conditions in India and around the world. Muted industrial growth in India in recent years, along with continuing higher inflation and interest rates, continue to pose risks to overall growth in this market. If automotive demand softens because of lower or negative economic growth in the key markets, notably China or other factors, the company's operations and financial conditions could be materially and adversely affected. It's terrible for the company as well. So, global and political risks. The global macroeconomic landscape in fiscal 2016 was rough and uncertain and characterized by weak growth of world output. This situation was exacerbated by declining prices of a number of commodities, with the reduction in crude oil prices being the most visible among them. Turbulent financial markets, especially in the equity markets, and volatile exchange rates. The analysis. Past performance of Tata Motors. Tata Motors' presence indeed cuts across length and breadth of India. Over 4 million Tata vehicles ply on Indian roads since the first rolled out in 1954. The company's manufacturing base in India is spread. Tata Motors, the first company from India's engineering sector to be listed in the New York Stock Exchange on September of 2004, has also emerged as an international automobile company, which gets into Jaguar and that as well. Future prospects. Tata Motors' strategy hinges on leveraging the long-term growth opportunity in the Indian automobile industry. The company is strongly investing in product and technologies that would make it future ready and would also fuel international growth. Would I buy it? To be honest, I would probably buy the stock for myself in this firm for various reasons, being that the margin mix when it comes to this firm seems to fluctuate rigorously, mostly in a positive way, more or less of the time. It is a growing company, seeing that Land Rover has been coming out with various models that would really open the eyes of consumers, therefore being the main reasons I would initially buy the stock. And yes, I would buy the stock because I'm young, and obviously I'm looking for innovation. And since Land Rover, Range Rover, and Jaguar are very sport-like young cars, might as well give it a shot. Thank you very much.